welcome back to the channel, and the big news I suppose is that we've renamed the channel Warners Creek Railway, and the reason we've done that is because the new layout is going to be called Warners Creek as we've moved from one side of Brisbane to the other. We're in a new outer suburb of Brisbane, and it's taken me a little while to get to the point where I had probably some news to share, but we've been able to sell our old home, and it's all settled okay. We've been able to settle on our new block of land, we've been able to contract the new house, and the most important part of this journey has been to contract the new shed. So a big shout out to Matrix Steel in Narangba, who were the successful tenderer to build our new shed, and this is what we've got here on the screen to show you now, and I'm just going to run through and show you what we've got. So we've got, overall our shed is 12 metres by 12 metres, and we have a workshop area here which is going to be 3 metres by 9 metres. This area over here that I'm just showing you here with the mouse is actually going to be an outside patio type awning that you can sit outside and have a look at the backyard. And then the train room is going to be this 9 metre by 9 metre room. Now the old Kingsview model railway was in a shed that was about 8 metres by 8 metres. So I've got about 1 metre more around the perimeter of the walls. My entrance is going to be just about here. I've got a couple of windows down the side. This area here faces to the south, this area faces to the north, this area here faces to the west. So I've decided not to put any windows facing west as it would be just too hot. So these windows will be under an awning, so that will also give a fair amount of protection to the northern sun. And of course we don't get too much southern sun, if any, on the block here. We've got 2 electric roller doors here for my workshop, which will have all the workshop stuff that we have. So as a Mac user, I use a program called Rail Modeler Pro, and this is the program that I used to design the second stage of the Kingsview model railway, and this is the program I'm going to be using to design the Warners Creek layout. To follow on from dismantling the old layout and coming up with some ideas, and also paying attention to my own video, the 5 or 6 things I wouldn't do with another layout. First thing I did was to make a decision that I'm not going to build the layout around the walls of the shed. Now the actual shed is actually, this is the actual shed. Boundaries is the size of this pallet. This area here, this dark grey area down the bottom here, that's going to be my workshop and bench area. This area here, this little orange area here, that's the entryway. I plan to have my air conditioner mounted here so that it'll blow cool air across the layout. But I've made a decision to build the layout in a modular form, and I'm going to have about a 600 to 800 mil walkway around the entire layout. The idea of this is to give me a new perspective on modelling, where with the old layout, with the older Kingsview model railway, the layout was up against the wall, so you only ever get one perspective of the layout, which is wherever you're standing, you're looking across the layout. So what I wanted to do was to be able to have a different perspective so that it didn't matter anywhere that I went, anywhere I walked around inside in the layout room, I'd be able to get a different perspective. So I also did a bit more research. On my old layout I had a maximum of 30-inch radius curves, and these were acceptable, but there were some areas, with some of my locos, some of my larger New South Wales locos, which were the D57s and D58s, and not so much the Garrett because it's articulated, but the larger mountain class layout locos, they sort of didn't really like the 30-inch curves. So on this layout I'm going for 32-inch curves. So what I've actually done is taken a modular approach, and these modules here are going to be 2 metres by 900. So you might recall in my video about one of the mistakes I made, was one of the biggest mistakes I made was I made the layout too wide. Now When you can walk around both sides of the layout, obviously you could make these baseboards wider, because I found that, at normal layout height, that the reach is only about 900 mil. But given that, I'm not using all of this area around the edge of the layout, you're obviously restricted a little bit in how much you can build. So another decision that I've made is also not to have a turntable. And as much as I had a beautiful turntable on the old layout, sometimes it was a little bit problematic. And I think, well, I've had a turntable, I've enjoyed that. So this time I'm just going to run with a loco depot. So I'm still going to model New South Wales. I don't know whether I'm modelling the main south or the main west or the main north. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to model an area of New South Wales that never existed, and that's the layout I've decided to build. Now that might seem a bit strange, but it's going to be New South Wales themed, but it's not going to be based on any particular area. It's going to be based on fictional areas, and one of them is going to be Warners Creek. It's a fictional area. So my concept is to have a big station in here, with a number of passing loops and goods activity. I'll have some more staging down this right hand side. I'll have a loop where I can run around and come back. And I've decided, and I've taken inspiration from a New South Wales modeller, Tim Preddy, who has a beautiful layout that he's built that reprises the Bombala line in New South Wales, which is this beautiful old line that's now been closed for 30 odd years. And it's basically a New South Wales country line, and the impression of that particular layout that Tim's built is of this beautiful dry type of scenery, very typical of New South Wales, back in that period. So I'm going to build here a triangle here so that I can turn my locomotives, and then I'm going to build a branch line that goes around here and terminates with a typical old New South Wales branch line terminus, something like a Bombala or something of that style, and just have a meandering line that comes around with a nice old trestle bridge, and come back, and that will be my branch line. Now I'm building all of this in Code 83. I've decided to go a little bit more fine scale than we did in Code 100 in the last layout, and we'll also be using the Pico Unifrog Code 83 points as well. I haven't made my mind up about point motors as yet, and that's something I've got to look into to work out whether I run with the Pico ones I did last time, or I run with something that's maybe a little bit higher quality and a little bit less obvious. And I'm trying to go a step level up with this layout in terms of the way in which it looks. So I'm certainly going to try and do the best I can to make this the most realistic layout as possible. So as you can see, you'll be able to walk in, and I don't have a duck under anymore, or a bridge like I had with the old layout. I'm going to be able to have full access to the layout in these areas. I might have a seat or two around here. You'll be able to walk around the entire layout and enjoy a perspective from any particular area that you're looking at the layout. So I'm not sure exactly how this layout's all going to come together. What I've done is I've put some 32-inch curves on here just to get a feel for how these baseboards work. And these baseboards are going to be what's called open frame. So, I'll be using uprights, and I'm planning on using, at this stage, a metal upright system that can be purchased from Bunnings called Racket. It has been used in the past for model railways. I find that it's pretty economical to be able to build a baseboard system using the Racket uprights from Bunnings, compared to building them out of timber and then cutting them up and joining them. That's fairly time consuming. We just go down to Bunnings and buy a whole pile of baseboards and get them a whole pile of supports, and then build your baseboard around that. So I'll then build a frame around the baseboards. They'll be 2 metres by 900, and while the layout won't be modular, eventually, the time will come when the layout has to be either moved or disposed of. And when I look at the amount of work that we had to go through to remove the Kingsview Model Railway, I want to make this one a lot simpler, where you would easily be able to just make a quick cut wherever these boards are. And because it's modular, you'd be able to put it into a truck or into a van and move it on, or do whatever you want with it. So certainly taking a modular approach. I've yet to work out whether we're going to be 1 or 2 levels. The last layout was pretty flat, but we might do something where we've got either a nice bridge over a river, or a couple of we might have a nice incline here with a bridge and have stuff move around. So just not quite sure how we're going to do things as yet. But anyway, that's our first update for the Warners Creek Railway. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll keep you up to date. Our next update will be in a couple of weeks when the shed starts to get built. We're going to go through that process of getting the shed built. We'll show you the progress of that coming along. I wanted to share the whole process of, right from the design process right up to when we are able to start building the layout and start running some trains. So that's going to take obviously many months, but I hope you enjoy watching this video, and stay subscribed. If you like what we're doing, please hit that like button and subscribe. We appreciate your support. The Kingsview channel was well supported by you guys, but I hope you want to come and enjoy this journey with me as I build the Warners Creek Railway. And if you've got any suggestions and anything you'd like to see us do, or maybe you've got some ideas of your own, feel free to comment below. And until next time, keep modelling, keep playing trains, and hopefully it won't be long before we drive the Golden Spike into the last piece of track at Warners Creek Railway and we start to run some trains. But until then, we'll see you next time.